and welcome everybody to episode 4 of Wyatt's Hour, where every week we talk about the biggest sports and entertainment news of the week. And today we have quite a few news and sports news that I'm going to be covering today. So the first, we'll be talking about the NBA draft and talking about the NBA free agency and what you need to know. Telling you everything about trade rumors, about different trades that happened. Secondly, we'll be talking about the NHL draft, going through how each pick went and what I think the free agency is going to be for the NHL. Third, we're going to be talking about Toy Story and different movies that are going on in the box office right now and giving you an overview on what's going on in entertainment side of things. Then we're going to be talking about the MLB, bringing you the latest news, stories, and scores from the MLB. And last but not least, the main event of the show today, we will be talking about the FIFA World Cup. So hopefully you guys are having a great day so far. It's pretty sunny out today with, I saw that there is some chance of rain around 1 or 2 o'clock. So if you're going to go outside and play, wait until you're done listening to Wyatt's Hour. Promise you won't regret it. But we're going to be going right into a music break real quick, just to set the mood. When we come back, we will be talking about Toy Story and the biggest movies that are going on in the box office right now and giving you an in-depth look at what's going on. So we'll be back right after this. Welcome back from the music break. Now we're going to be talking about Toy Story. So for this summer, as you've seen, that the movies have actually been doing really well in the box office. The box office is on track. It's at over $1 billion right now, but it's on track to making $10 billion by the end of 2026, which would be the first time that it's happened in roughly 7 years. So it's really good. It's a really good year for movie fans. But this weekend, Toy Story 5. Now, the last time we spoke, I talked about Toy Story, talked about how it was doing in the box office, as it had came out on June 19th. And since then, it has pulled off a massive $70 million second weekend and crossed $585 million globally. Now, a lot of people would talk about franchise fatigue and how a lot of people are really, a lot of times when a franchise makes multiple movies, they are fatigued. They're tired of seeing the same thing over and over and over again. But it doesn't apply for Toy Story 5. A lot of fans love the movie. It's really drawing different demographics. You see a lot of millennial parents who grew up with the 1995 original and alongside their children. And now you see the millennials who grew up with the movie. Now they get a chance to experience that movie with their kids. So now not only are they experiencing it again, their kids, most kids might be experiencing this movie for the first time. And it just really shows how good of a fan base Pixar has, and how a lot of times like I said before, movies, franchises, after the second and fourth movie, people start to get fatigued. People start to get tired of seeing the same movie over and over and over again. But this time, looks like it doesn't apply for Toy Story 5. And now Pixar took a huge risk, right? Because Pixar is continuing a story that many fans felt ended perfectly with Toy Story 3 and Toy Story 4. Now, this is a massive financial win for Pixar, but also it just shows them that they haven't forgotten about Toy Story, that they haven't forgotten about the fans. Now we move on to the second movie, is Supergirl. Now, I've seen a lot of hype for Supergirl, but Supergirl actually didn't do that well in their opening. They had $38 million opening. It is the reason why it didn't perform well is because DC in the last couple of years have not really been known to making good movies. The only real good movie that I've seen come out of the DC universe has really been the Batman movies. Like, talk about The Flash in 2023 and how overwhelming that was. And I know I saw some marketing for Supergirl, but not a lot of people are really a big fan of it. They think that it's not that great, which hints the reason why there's such a low money being made with the movie. Now, could we see this making more? I don't know. I feel like a lot of people will probably see this just to see like how it is. But based off of what I'm seeing, it may cap out at 50 to 60 million at least. But I don't see anything else. I don't see it being that good. And also a couple other movies to point out. The biopic movie Michael has almost reached $1 billion, which I think it's the most biopic movie made in that biopic genre ever. It's almost on track to $1 billion. Everybody is excited to see it. The actors in the movie have really done an amazing job at trying to capture Michael Jackson, trying to capture who he was. Now, rather you think that despite his allegations or what he's been accused of, he's one of the greatest singers of all time. I mean, the popularity that he's been able to gain, and a lot of people that he's been able to like have is insane. He had like 1 billion followers at one point, and I'm just like crazy. It's just crazy to imagine. We also have Disclosure Day, which has reached almost $100 million. Disclosure Day, if you aren't aware of the movie, it's talking about how a guy obtains secrets that aliens are real, and he's trying to show the world that aliens exist, but the government is trying to stop him. And a lot of people have said that this is like really realistic. I've seen some people accuse Steven Spielberg of knowing stuff that he isn't saying, which I don't know if that's true, but so Disclosure Day is a pretty good movie. Obsession has just crossed $300 million, and Obsession has become one of the most highest horror films of all time. It's in the top 10. And the Backrooms as well. Backrooms is doing really well, and people love that. So that's your biggest movie news of the week. And man, if we keep this up, this will be the best summer box office we've had in 7 years. Like, it's insane. The movies coming out this summer is really good, and it's really going to make this summer in contention for one of the best summers ever to have a movie, to watch a movie, because you have Minions and Monsters, which I bet you that's going to cross well over 500 million. You got Spider-Man and A Brand New Day, I think. So you got the new Spider-Man movie coming out in July. I mean, you have so many movies coming out this summer that will really put it in contention to being the best movie of the year. But that's all for the movie aspect. When we come back, we will be talking about the NBA draft and the NBA free agency and bringing you insights on what's going on in the world of the NBA. We'll be back right after this. And welcome back, everybody. You just listened to One Direction Save You Tonight. And we are back here at HC Hawk Radio here in the Ybor City campus on Live 365. It is 94 degrees outside today, so it's a little hotter than normal. But I see that we're going to get some rain here in about a couple hours. So, and now let's head right into the NBA draft and what has happened in the free agency and trade market. Last time we spoke, I had said that we were and boy, do we have a lot to talk about. So the first overall pick, Cameron Bruiser, got drafted by the Washington Wizards. Then we have AJ Dabonanza went to the Utah Jazz, and Darren Peterson went to the Memphis Grizzlies, with Caleb Wilson going number 4. Now, there is a first time. The draft saw a record-tying 8 freshmen selected in the first 9 picks, and is showcasing how much high-ceiling talent there is in this year's draft and how high they are on these players. And last time we spoke, we had spoken about how there was a possibility of Giannis Antetokounmpo being traded. Well, he got traded. He was traded to Miami in the biggest blockbuster of the decade. The Milwaukee Bucks traded 2-time MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo to the Miami Heat. In return, got 3 first-round picks, Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, and Jamie Jaquarez Jr. Now, let me just say this. The draft, that trade was really good. It was a really good trade. My only thing with that trade is that Miami gave up a little too much players for Giannis. But pairing him with Bam Adebayo, and I've seen other players that they want to get, because the Miami Heat aren't done getting people. They want Jimmy Butler, they want LeBron James, they want a lot of players, and I think the Miami Heat are going all in. And for the Miami Heat, I give them a B rating. I think they gave up a little bit too much for Giannis, but Giannis, he's one of the best players in the NBA right now, so that trade package was good. If you're the Bucks, you did really good. You get 3 first-round picks. You get players who, they're not as good as Giannis, but they will plug in and they will help you with your rebuild. And now, second trade that happened, LaMelo Ball from the Charlotte Hornets got traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves. So LaMelo Ball got traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and now we'll be reuniting. Not reuniting. We'll be pairing with Anthony Edwards. Now, talk about that matchup. Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball, really good. That's a really good pairing. And I've heard some people say that his brothers may follow suit. Lonzo Ball and Jello, I think his name is Jello Ball. I heard that they might be following suit. But yeah, so LaMelo Ball going to the Minnesota Timberwolves was honestly a really good idea, really good for the Charlotte Hornets. They get a 2023 first round pick, which, I mean, that's so far away from now, but it was worth it. The Hornets also traded Josh Green for Naz Reid, 2023 first round pick, and 3 first round pick swaps and 3 second round picks. So the Timberwolves had to give up a lot for LaMelo Ball, but I think, in my opinion, it was worth it because you get an already a guy who can come in and really make your team look great with LaMelo Ball. We also got Miles Bridges to the Phoenix Suns. So Charlotte wasn't done. Charlotte made 2 trades. Charlotte shipped Miles Bridges and a 2027 second-round pick to the Phoenix Suns for exchange for Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, and a 2023 first-round pick. Now talk about the Hornets. They are really trying their best to really go into a rebuild. They're going into a rebuild. They're trying to get a lot of first-round picks. We got also a couple for free agency. James Harden for the Cleveland Cavaliers is expected to be a free agent. For the first time in his career, Draymond Green is expected to be a free agent. He was with the Golden State Warriors, but I heard that the Golden State Warriors are actively pursuing LeBron James or Anthony Davis. So expect Draymond Green to sign a big deal within the next couple of days. And Kawhi Leonard. There's a rumor that Kawhi Leonard may be getting traded and going back to Toronto. And also Jaylen Brown from the Boston Celtics is actively being traded as well. I heard that he's going to be traded to a different team. They're actively trying to ship him. But that's all for the NBA draft, NBA free agency, and trade rumors. So when we come back after the music break, we'll do a short music break. We will be talking about the NHL drafts, talking about any trades that happened, what do you need to know about the NHL draft. So we'll be back right after this. And welcome back. You are listening to HC Hawk Radio. And now we will be talking about the NHL draft and what you need to know and what happened this past weekend. As last time we spoke, we talked about the major trade that happened. And now we will be talking about the NHL draft. Now, the first overall pick was announced by pop icon Justin Bieber. Now imagine you're a college player, you're expected to get drafted into the NHL, and you get drafted by the one and only Justin Bieber announces that you get drafted to Toronto. I mean, that's a once in a lifetime opportunity. So the Toronto Leafs selected 18-year-old winger Gavin McKenna with the first overall pick. Now, McKenna represents a monumental shift in hockey history. He was one of the very, of the very first elite players to take advantage of the recent rule change granting Canadian Hockey League (CHL) players NCAA eligibility. He played his draft year at Penn State, racking up 51 points in 35 games to finish 5th in national college scoring. Now, McKenna has elite hockey IQ and playmaking vision. Despite shuffling through 11 different line mates at Penn State, he still managed a staggering 1.46 points per game average. His tape-to-tape passing ability projects alongside NHL goal scorers like Austin Matthews and William Nylander. He really has a chance to be one of the top NHL players in the league. And the fact that you get drafted and your draft pick was announced by Justin Bieber, of all people, that is what a moment. Next, the San Jose Sharks emerged as the undisputed winners of the first round, loading up on 3 picks. Ivar Stenberg with the second overall pick, Katon Verhoef, 9th overall pick, and Ryan Lind, number 21. On Stenberg, who was a number 1 ranked international skater after producing a historic 33 points in 43 games in Sweden's top professional league, most by an 18-year-old since Senden Twins in 1999. He has a really good future pairing of Stenberg on the top line with last year's top pick, Macklin Celebrini. Now, San Jose, they have weaponized their draft capital to snag Varenhoff and Lynn, who both flipped past their consensus projections, meaning they fell off where the draft scouts where they thought they would go. They went lower, which means teams like the San Jose Sharks are easily able to take advantage of teams not picking them. Now the San Jose Sharks have really put themselves in the future underdogs of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. Now we have some family ties that happened. The Vancouver Canucks shook up the draft board at number 3 overall by selecting center Caleb Malhora, who happens to be the son of the team's coaching staff. He has a strong two-way modern center profile, and it fits the Canucks' rigid structural system. So, imagine you're the Vancouver. You draft this really good center who's a two-way, and he happens to be the son of somebody on your coaching staff. That's great. I mean, it's also a kid's dream to get drafted and play for their father's team, for their parents' team. That's a dream. And also, the Buffalo Sabres capitalize on the crowd energy by selecting defensive man Daxton Rudolph at number 4. Using the pick acquired from Chicago in the Bowen Bayram trade. Rudolph put up an absurd 78 points in the WHL. Buffalo is building a powerhouse blue line foundation consisting of Ramus Dahlin, Owen Power, and now Rudolph. And now Buffalo is also trying to put themselves in that conversation to being one of the best teams in NHL. A lot of teams did really well in the draft, and they were really able to take advantage of who was in this draft class. Because this draft class was one of the best in NHL's recent years, at least. And it just goes to show how well these players are. I mean, I can't believe how well these 18, 19, 20-year-olds are doing. And now, at the very end of the first round, the Ottawa Senators, who made that huge trade, made history by drafting winger Jackson Cover with the 32nd overall pick. Now, cover hails from Grand Cayman in the Caribbean. Because there are 0 ice hockey rinks on the island, Cover learned to play the game strictly on a tiny inline roller hockey tile rink at a local sports center. His development arc says that the widening global reach and changing accessibility of modern hockey, which means if somebody on a small island in the Caribbean can get drafted in the first round, who says that nobody else from different islands or different countries can't get drafted? It just goes to show that if you put in the work, if you work hard enough, if you prove to everybody that you're the best of the best, you get drafted first in the first round. And that's what the Ottawa Senators did. They made that trade, they got that pick, and they were able to pick him in the first round. So congratulations to him, and congratulations to everybody that got drafted in the first round. We will be going into another music break, and after this music break, we will be talking about the biggest, what you need to know about the MLB, who's looking like they're going to the playoffs, what are the teams looking like, how's Tampa Bay doing. We'll be right back after this. And welcome back. You are listening to HC Hawk Radio here at the Ybor City campus. This is Wyatt's Hour. I am Wyatt. And now let's head right into the MLB and talking about how's the world of baseball doing? Because I know we haven't spoken about baseball that much on the show. And so here we go. In the National League powerhouses, here's the standings. The Los Angeles Dodgers boast the best record in all of baseball at 54-30, holding a comfortable lead over the San Diego Padres in the NL West. Meanwhile, the Milwaukee Brewers are pacing the National League Central at 50-31, closely pursued by the Atlanta Braves, 49-33, who lead the National League East. Now we got the American League. Our very own Tampa Bay Rays are 48-33, and the New York Yankees, 48-35, are locked in a really tight battle over the top of the American League East. Now in the Central, you got the Chicago White Sox and the Cleveland Guardians are really identical with a .524 winning percentage, while the Texas Rangers, 42-42, hold a fragile lead in the entirely wide open American League West. Now, we did have some breaking news happen over the past couple of days. The biggest news story going on right now is the firing of the New York Mets manager Carlos Mendoza, despite the team owner Steve Cohen funding a staggering $375 million plus luxury tax payroll, the second highest in the majors. The Mets have collapsed to a 35-49 last place standing in the National League East. The firing was triggered by an error-ridden 4-game home sweep at the hands of the Chicago Cubs. Team management named Andy Green as interim manager for the remainder of the season. Now the public is shifting heavily towards President of Baseball Operations David Stearns as the Mets look like prime candidates to aggressively dismantle their roster and act as sellers ahead of the summer trade deadline. Now the Mets. This hits a little hard for me because I'm a Mets fan, and it's not good. We've been really active in the free agency market. We got swept by the Chicago Cubs. We aren't really doing that good right now, and looking like we're gonna really need to rehaul that defense. We're gonna have to. So since the manager got fired, it's gonna be exciting to see how the Mets do in a couple weeks ahead. And seeing, can they change their season around, or will they fall short to another losing season. Now we also have Kyle Switchwarber, for the Philadelphia Phillies, entered the record books during a thrilling 5-4 victory over, who we just talked about, the Mets. He launched his 30th home run of the season. Now, we got some historical context. Connecting on the blast in Philadelphia's 84th game made Schwarber the fastest player in franchise history to reach 30 home runs before July. The achievement extends his own active record for the longest continuous streak of 30 homer seasons in the major leagues for 6 consecutive years. That's that's a long time to have 30 plus home runs in a season. And now he became the fastest player in Philadelphia history to get 30 home runs before July. That says something. And shortstop Mookie Betts proved exactly why the Dodgers are defending back-to-back champions during a really good finales against the San Diego Padres. After missing time earlier in the year with a strain, Betts put on a masterclass by driving in the game-winning runs in a clutch bases loaded with the bases loaded. He then sealed the victory for defense by turning a unassisted game-ending double play, which means he got 2 outs, and the defensive and he was really good on defense. The defense heroics perfectly mirrored his play to close out the World Series, showing that LA is peaking perfectly heading into July. So, the Dodgers are doing really well with Shohei Ohtani just putting on a masterclass there. And the Dodgers are in contention to being back-to-back champions for 3 years in a row. And they could do it. Especially how their team has played. But I'm hoping that our very own Tampa Bay Rays wins the World Series this year. Well, anyway, that is all for the MLB. When we come back from our music break, we will be talking about the FIFA World Cup, the main event of the show today. And for the FIFA World Cup, the round of 32 has started. The group stage has ended. I'll tell you who's in, who's out, who do I think is moving on. We'll be back right after this. And welcome back, everybody. You're listening to Wyatt's Hour on HC Hawk Radio. And now we are getting into probably the most important part of Wyatt's Hour, the FIFA World Cup. As I know a lot of people are watching the FIFA World Cup right now. So before I get to the round of 32, as the round of 32 started yesterday, I'll tell you about the group stage. So the scores for June 22nd, which is last week, Argentina beat Austria 2-0. France beat Iraq 3-0. Norway defeated Senegal 3-2. And Algeria beat Jordan 2-1. And now for June 23rd, on Tuesday, Portugal blew out Uzbekistan 5-0. England and Ghana tied 0-0. Croatia defeated Panama 1-0, and Colombia beat Congo 1-0. On Wednesday, Bosnia beat Qatar 3-1. Switzerland beat Canada 2-1. Morocco beat Haiti 4-2. Brazil beat Scotland 3-0. Mexico beat Czechoslovakia 3-0. And South Africa defeated South Korea 1-0. On Thursday, Ivory Coast defeated Morocco 2-0. Ecuador defeated Germany 2-1. Japan and Sweden tied. Netherlands beat Tunisia 3-1. Paraguay and Australia tied 0-0. And Turkey beat the United States 3-2. Now, one thing to note about the U.S., they had actually rested their starters and put in their second stringers for this match. I don't know why they did that. I guess it's to rest their starters. I mean, yes, you need to rest your starters, but give them more experience. Give them the experience of playing in the World Cup and being able to play and move on. On Friday, France beat Norway 4-1. Senegal defeated Iraq 5-0. Cape Verde and Saudi Arabia tied 0-0. Spain beat Uruguay 1-0. Egypt and Iran tied 1-1. And Belgium beat New Zealand 5-1. On Saturday, the last of the group stage, Croatia defeated Ghana 2-1. England defeated Panama 2-0. Colombia and Portugal tied. Congo defeated Uzbekistan 3-1. Algeria and Austria tied 3-3. And Argentina defeated Jordan 3-1. And the funny thing about it is Messi has scored in every match that he has been in for this World Cup so far. And on June 28th, yesterday, the round of 32 started with Canada beating South Africa, with Canada getting the goal in the 90th minute with 2 extra minutes to go. They scored, and Canada now moves on to the round of 16. Now for South Africa, I was surprised that they had actually gone in to that they had actually gotten into the round of 32. But they put up a good fight against Canada, and Canada only won by 1. Now you might be asking, who else is in the round of 32? Well, I'll tell you. Today at 1 p.m., you have Brazil versus Japan. That's going to be a great matchup. Germany versus Paraguay, and Netherlands versus Morocco. Now, if I had to give my prediction on who I think is going to win, I think Brazil will win, then Germany and Netherlands. I feel like they have what it takes to win. And the biggest upset, I would say, is if Paraguay defeats Germany. That would be a huge upset. Tomorrow, you have Ivory Coast versus Norway, and I have Norway winning that. France versus Sweden, and I have France beating Sweden. And then Mexico versus Ecuador. Now, Mexico has been on fire. I think they've won every single matchup that they've been in, and they've done really well. And it just goes to show how serious Mexico is, and they want to win this year's World Cup. So I have Mexico winning. On July 1st, this Wednesday, it's England versus Congo. I have England winning. Belgium versus Senegal. And I actually have Senegal beating Belgium. And then United States versus Bosnia. Now, this is a test to see how good is the U.S. How good are we under pressure when the pressure is high? And I think the U.S., I'm hoping that the U.S. wins. But I also predict that the U.S. can win. If they play it right, U.S. will win this matchup. On Thursday, you have Spain versus Austria, and I have Spain winning that. Croatia versus Portugal. I have Portugal winning that. And with Portugal having a bunch of ties and losing, I was surprised that they made the round of 32. And or they won one, they tied one, and then they lost one. And they tied twice. And I'm surprised that Portugal is still in, and Ronaldo actually scored a goal this year. Then we have Switzerland and Algeria. I have Switzerland winning that match. In the last of the group of 32, you have Australia versus Egypt, and I have Egypt beating Australia. Argentina versus Cape Verde. I have Argentina winning that, and Colombia versus Ghana, and I have Colombia winning. And starting on this Saturday, which is the 4th of July, the round of 16 will start. And before we go today, I'll be talking about a little bit about the 4th of July, some fun facts for you guys, doing a recap. So, a little bit about how it'll go for the FIFA World Cup for the continuation. This is a knockout. So, if you win, you advance. If you lose, you are eliminated. And then the round of 16 will start. It will start on July 4th and will keep going until July 7th. Then you have the quarterfinals. So you have the best 8 teams that make it will be in, and that will range from July 9th to July 11th. Then the semifinals, and now the best 4 teams will face each other to see who will make it to the finals. And they do have a 3rd place match. So the winner of the 3rd place match will be the 3rd place, and the loser will be the 4th place. And your 2026 FIFA World Cup final will be in East Rutherford, New Jersey, or at MetLife Stadium. And so we still got a couple more weeks of us talking about the World Cup. We'll be taking you every step of the way. We will be taking a music break here, and when we come back from the music break, we'll be doing our recap, talking about some fun facts about America. That's happening this Saturday, and just talking to you guys about what's going to be talked about next week. So we'll be back right after this. And welcome back from the music break. You just got done listening to Ariana Grande. Thank you. Next. Now we're going to be going a little bit over a recap of what we talked about today, what we talked about next week, and I have a fun fact for you. And we're also going to be talking about the 4th of July, which is this Saturday. So today we talked about the NBA draft and the NBA free agency market, what's going on with the trades. We spoke about the NHL draft and how that played out. We spoke about Toy Story, Supergirl, movies that are going on and how they're doing in the box office. We also spoke about the world of the MLB, talking about the standings, giving you guys updates on how the MLB is going. And we talked about the FIFA World Cup. And now for next week, we will continue to give you updates on the NBA, because under the NBA is really active this summer. We'll continue to talk about the FIFA World Cup, and we'll be talking about a couple other different things. We talk about the NHL. We'll be giving you insights on how the movies are going, if new movies came out, and what movies to expect this summer. So, and now for your fun fact of the day. Did you know that a single bolt of lightning contains enough energy to toast over 100,000 slices of bread instantly? I did not know that. But now if I need to feed 100,000 people, I'll just wish for lightning. Boom. There you go. I got toast ready for 100,000 people. Now, the main thing I wanted to talk about is this Saturday. It's the 4th of July. And if you live in America or you know of America, it's our 250th birthday of our independence from the United Kingdom, from Great Britain. And the Declaration of Independence was signed by Thomas Jefferson. And 250 years later, America is going strong. We've done a lot of things that are good, a lot of things that are questionable, but I'm not going to get into that. But overall, over the 250 years of America's history, we have definitely made history. We've definitely shown that this is one of the best countries in the world. So, John Adams, here's some fun facts about the 4th of July before we go off air today. John Adams famously refused to celebrate the 4th of July throughout his life. He firmly believed America's Independence Day should be celebrated on July 2nd, the actual day the Continental Congress voted for independence. We also got the Americans love their fireworks. Every year, consumers in the U.S. spend more than $1 billion on fireworks alone to celebrate Independence Day celebrations. Now, I know a thing or two about fireworks because my family, we always try to do fireworks, or our neighborhood will always try to do fireworks. And it's so fascinating to see fireworks. They're so fascinating to see. I know I used to go to fireworks shows where people would spend a lot of money. They would go to a field and they would just put fireworks in the air. And I love how fireworks works, and fireworks are really cool to see. On July 4th, Americans eat an estimated 150 million hot dogs. If you laid them all end to end, they would stretch from Washington, D.C. to Los Angeles more than 5 times. Now, we'll have to say, I am a contributing factor of the 150 million hot dogs eaten because I love myself a good hot dog, burgers on the 4th of July. So I know that's a lot of hot dogs. Like, I can't imagine Americans eat that much on a single day. So if you're a hot dog fan, definitely get yourself a hot dog for the 4th of July. Grill some on a grill. Watch fireworks, and it'll be a really fun time. And now, for our last fact of the day, Thomas Jefferson is widely credited with introducing macaroni and cheese to American culture after discovering it in France. He famously served the dish at an official White House Independence Day dinner. Now, take a look at that. Thomas Jefferson introduced macaroni and cheese to America at an official White House 4th of July dinner. Imagine if we never got introduced to mac and cheese back then. How long do you think it would have taken us to finally discover macaroni and cheese? Now, I'm an avid lover of macaroni and cheese. I love different cheeses. Fun fact about me, a couple weeks ago, I actually started cooking for the first time, and I cooked a Worcestershire beef macaroni and cheese. It tastes better than it sounds, but that's a little fun fact. So when I read the fun fact, it brought me back to a couple weeks ago. But thank you guys so much for listening, either on Live 365 or if you're listening to this on YouTube. I appreciate the support, and we'll be back here next week for episode 5 of Wyatt Hour. Can't believe it's already been 5 weeks. We'll see you guys in the next one.